Hi guys, it's Beata. So today I'm driving again. This is a driving podcast. As you know, Kasia, my daughter, who's 9 years old and who lives with Syngap1 related disorders, has ABA camp every morning during the month of June, and I'm driving non-stop for about 3 hours. So this is the time for me to record the podcast. As you know, I've been doing this for about a couple of years in Polish for our Polish community, and now I'm branching out, and I would like to support also English speaking community of Syngap1 and maybe other disorders. I don't know. I was thinking about it today, and we are facing this interesting time in science and medicine. Not only us, but also other diseases, and other diseases, you know, they want to be in our position, and they will be maybe in a few years as well. So welcome everybody. I am not a doctor or a scientist, and I will not give you any advice when it comes to Syngap1 or clinical trials or anything like that, but I just want to talk about clinical trials because we're fortunate enough to be in a position in our community to be facing clinical trials in the near future. So let's talk about this. So we already covered in a previous episode, part 1 and 2, how I came to my decision about clinical trials, if I'm ever lucky enough to be offered a clinical trial for Kasia. Today I think we need to talk about why would even anyone consider a clinical trial for a disease like Syngap1. Why not wait and until the drug is tested for safety, for efficacy, and approved by FDA or European Commission and so forth, by the regulatory agencies? Why not just wait? So let's talk about this. So today, why time matters. So for me, time is brain. Mike talks about it all the time. Time is brain, and for me, absolutely, time is brain. For me, 1 year makes a difference in a treatment. So we know, according to current standards, and hopefully those timelines can be shortened. But right now, when we look at other medicines and clinical trials, the time from dosing patient number 1 to actually being approved by regulatory agencies and being on the market, it can be 10 years. So Kasia's 9. If she would be in a clinical trial, even with the placebo, most clinical trials offer the medicine after the placebo timeline. Most, not all, but most. So let's say if you participate in a clinical trial and it's a placebo trial, that means that some children will not receive drug. We don't know because it's a double-blind placebo study, so your doctor will not know, you will not know, nobody's going to know if the child received the actual medicine or a placebo, which means like it's a sugar pill, right? It's not a pill, but you know what I mean. It doesn't have medicine. Nobody's going to know. But even if your child is in a placebo, most companies will offer after that trial, that the trial is over, will offer the child to be on medicine. I'm turning left, you guys. This is like a challenge for me. Who's not a great driver? I'm not. All right, I do my best. We turned. But you know what? Now I look at the people who are driving and I'm like, why am I saying I'm not a good driver? I'm a great driver. Those dumbasses, they can't drive at all. I mean, I don't know. It was just a guy who just cut over the lane in front of me. So anyway, back to Syngap. So that means for a child like my Kasia, for example, if she would be in this clinical trial, and depending how long is that this phase 1 or phase 2 or phase 1 and 2 takes, that means that even let's say I don't know this, but let's say it's going to be a year, right? So for a year she would have received this placebo, let's say, right? Then chances are that the pharmaceutical company would tell us after a year, okay, your child was on the placebo, would you like to be on a drug, right? And this is the data we have from this study. Would you like to be on a drug, right? And then you would receive the drug, and it would be for free, and it would be faster, right? Because let's say the trial would be a year, you would be you even if you are on the placebo, you would receive the medicine after a year, right? So your child could be treated within a year, right? Even if you take this placebo risk, and your child could be treated day 1. So because there's possibility that they wouldn't be on the drug, and there's also possibility that the company who offers the trial would continue with dosing the child, right? So it's time. That's what it is. It's time. So for me, it's not for everybody. I'm not advising you. I'm not telling you to be in any kind of trial. I'm just saying, for me personally, this time is brain. This time is of essence. And for me personally, it's worth the risk, right? Because I look at the benefit versus the risk, and my thinking today, it would be worth the risk. We don't know what those drugs are going to do, so we're betting on and hoping that they will change the disease trajectory, our children's life trajectory, in a meaningful way. So what does that mean to me? Meaningful way, right? And again, guys, you have to understand, I am not a scientist. I don't have any insider knowledge about any of this. I'm just telling you about my way of thinking and how I think about those things, and I want you to think in your own way about those things, and maybe we can discuss. Maybe we can, discuss everybody's concerns, everybody's questions, the way you understand what's happening, the way I understand what's happening. It's just a discussion. I am not absolutely here to tell you what to do and how to think. Absolutely not. But the way I think of it, okay, it's what would be a meaningful change to me that would be worth the risk, right? Even after the drug is approved, even after it's all tested for safety, efficacy, what would be meaningful change for me to say, okay, it's worth to put my child under anesthesia every 3 months and give a spinal injection of a medicine that may have some side effects, may have, you know, the injection itself has side effects, the anesthesia has side effects. So what would be a meaningful change? Because if it's slight change, I don't think it would be worth it. Like, if it's not a meaningful change, then it's not, to me, this is not going to be worth it, because, you know, chances are there's going to be travel, chances are there's going to be, you know, there's always a cost of time and effort and financial cost to everything we do. So it has to be really meaningful. So for me, okay, I'm hoping that meaningful change would cover all of the aspects of Syngap, right? The epilepsy, the behaviors, sleep, ADHD, hyperactivity, and of course development. So I'm hoping that this is not going to be only about epilepsy, but it's also going to be about development. So I'm hoping that the patient, you know, let's say Kasia, my daughter, would make meaningful progress. And the meaningful progress, it's such a interesting word, because when we go to therapies, right, when we go to speech therapy, OT, PT, our children make meaningful progress, right? If they didn't make any progress, we wouldn't put them in therapy, right? So they do make meaningful progress. They do progress with their development. So for me to do this, it would have to be significant. So the epilepsy would have to pretty much go away, and I think that would be the easiest to treat actually with Syngap. The developmental progress would have to be, let's say, you know, Kasia's not completely nonverbal. I'm not even saying it would have to be to the point that she speaks, because we just don't know that. We don't know if she's too old, or I hope not. I don't think she's too old, but we just don't know. But if she can learn to use her AAC device in a proficient way, so in an advanced way, that she can communicate her wants, needs, desires, her thoughts in a proficient way, that would be worth it to me. If she can spell, that would be fantastic. If she can type, that would be fantastic. If she can talk, I mean, God, I can't. That I don't even know. That would be a miracle. That would be a true miracle. So if she could talk, but if she can improve her fine motor skills to the point that she can feed herself, she can dress herself, she can be potty trained, she can, you know, use her hands more precisely, so she doesn't have to use my hands all the time. That would be absolutely significant progress to me. So things like that, it will have to do with development. So it would have to do with overall speed of development. So right now, you know, we know that Syngap is a neurodevelopmental disease. It's not neurodegenerative disease, thank God. But our kids with age, they will not necessarily regress, but they will the difference between the neurotypical kids and Syngap kids will widen, right? That this gap would widen. Okay, so it's really hard to imagine. It's really hard because we think of it. Okay, in theory, this could be a cure, right? This could be restoration of Syngap protein to the normal levels, or to the levels that are near normal, that are significant to development of the child. But when is that time? Like if we gave this medicine in utero, right? When the mother is pregnant, we will never even know probably if the child had Syngap, right? Because the development would from the beginning would be normal, right? But to reverse the disease, it's really hard to even imagine. In theory, it's possible, right? To reverse the disease. It's not like SMA, it's not like muscular dystrophy that it stops the progression of the disease. Syngap is not a progressive disease. It's not neurodegenerative disease. So it could possibly reverse the symptoms. So, and again, this is my way of thinking. This has nothing to do with science, you guys. But my way of thinking is, what would that medicine do? I think it would work as let's say a stroke victim, right? If you have a stroke, and yes, before the stroke you had the skills like speech and your gross motor and fine motor skills, and after stroke you lose those skills. But with the rehabilitation and speech therapy and occupational therapy, you can regain some of the skills. So in my head, again, you guys, this is just my head. Welcome to my world. This is Beata's world. In my head, it would be like a stroke victim. So it would start the rehabilitation from the level of Syngap protein that is appropriate for learning. So our kids would have to have intensive speech therapy, occupational therapy, intensive learning from the scratch to catch up on those skills, right? So if the medicine is given later than birth, or later than maybe 1 year old or 2 years old, then we're playing catch up, right? We're playing catch up. So we would have to like regain those skills over time, like a stroke victim would have to, right? So after a stroke or after a brain surgery, people, let's say they don't talk, but some, in many cases with therapy, with practice, they regain speech, right? They regain ability to talk. So this is how I think of it. Gosh, if there's a scientist or a doctor or whoever listening to this, I apologize. I may be speaking out of crazy ideas, but that's how I think of it. Like, that's how I think of it. We don't know. We'll see. First kids will be dosed this year. I mean, we'll see. We will know. The question is, are you willing to participate in this learning process with your child, right? It's a lot of commitment as well. So anyway, you guys, I'm gonna end here. I'm trying to do those videos. I can't do short videos. There's not gonna be on TikTok ever. I can't just say 3 words. This is always going to be me talking, and I can't. Yeah, I've been talking to, like, in open board meetings lately for Kasha's school, and they give you 3 minutes to talk, and this is like the hardest thing I've ever done, because how can you even form a thought in 3 minutes. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you guys have opinion, I would love to talk about this. So I will post it on the Facebook group for Syngap. I'll post it on my Facebook page. But if you ever want to discuss this, if you have ideas, I feel like nobody really, not nobody, but not enough people really share their deep feelings and deep thoughts and deep concerns about a lot of those issues. Or I don't know, maybe you guys don't, maybe you don't think about it. I don't know, maybe I'm just this outlier out there who just constantly keeps, you know, thinking and analyzing. And so I don't know, maybe I don't know, you tell me. I would love to hear from you guys. So please do reach out and let's talk. Let's just talk. Talking helps. We're in a just very weird time, and a lot of people having a hard time with Syngap and life overall. So let's come together and let's support each other. All right. Okay, bye.